We're back. We're back. You were saying?
Well, just in general, I mean, if we want to get the show rolling here, something we could jump into right off the bat. I understand technology. I understand how it works. I do not understand how it doesn't work. These devices are purpose built to do one thing. Whatever their thing is it's designed to do one thing. And these computer chips and all these onboard components, all they are is wire pathways, very, very small pathways that are soldered and that are like laid into these microchips and shit. It's lanes and it's roads and it's pathways for data and information. Like,
Right.
That's why, like, I understand how someone can program a chip that makes a little toy robot, like, walk around in a circle or something. What I don't understand is why all of a sudden that technology can just not work. Like, how does something that you've done time and time again, recording audio, recording podcasts,
Just
one day you hit
malfunction.
record, yeah,
That's
what I don't understand.
Here's how I explain it.
Enlighten me.
The same thing as like deja vu and weird shit like that, like those little weird glitches that feel like they're glitches in the Matrix. Mm-hmm. Think about something that is atomic particle, right, or a photon. At their subatomic particle, they blink in and out of existence. For God's sake, it's
Yeah.
magic. So it's like that can happen with a computer because it's made up of these small particles. It's like something skips the line. It teleports over here, and you're missing that code, and then everything gets corrupt from that point out.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer oscillating in like a good equal frequency. It goes and becomes an interference pattern. Interferes itself.
Interesting.
That's just my thought on it.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. Like, on a larger scale, essentially
It
part of
seems
my
like it
job
shouldn't.
as an electrician, like with doing data stuff, you have to make sure that you're keeping certain distances between cables. You can't overfill pathways. And it's for that same
Cord
reason,
jumping.
because, you have a different rate of frequency that, depending on how tight the wire is twisted, that travels faster and faster or slower and slower.
That makes
And so
sense.
if you have a bunch of cords that are twisted all the same twist frequency, you get interference because there's parts that are constantly coming side by side,
Canceling
and they're
each other
closer.
out.
Yeah, they're physically closer to each other. So in a lot of wires that have, let's say, 4 or 5 wires inside, or pairs of wires all bundled into one, like an internet cable,
Yeah.
each of those 2 pairs is twisted at a different rate so that the data doesn't jump between each. But to
Gnarly,
your
I didn't
point,
know that.
I mean, that must be what's going on a tiny micro scale.
That's the only thing, like, I try to just put that in my mind, so it's almost, because I'm not super religious, it's almost like it's God's choice. Now it's no longer in my hands. It's
not up to you anymore,
nothing
huh?
I can do about it. It's just the laws of that nature.
Yeah.
And it's so I don't put my foot straight through my PC multiple times a
Oh
day.
man, for real. Well, that's a graceful and, I think, informed way to look at something like that, because I just think, what the fuck? This thing was built to do this. Why the fuck is it not doing this? This makes
That's
no
my first
sense.
thought.
And
That is
then-
my first thought. That's
yeah.
like today I was trying to move a table out of a door. No one has tools. I didn't know I had to be the one to bring tools. So, and the legs are too big. They have one screwdriver, so I'm like, maybe I can take the door off and have enough space still. Just like where the wall is here on the turn to the other wall, and the space that you have inside, it's just not happening for how long the legs are and how wide the table is.
Just math won't
And I was
work.
just like, I tried every fucking combination you could possibly think of to try to get it out of there, and nothing was fucking working. I kind of lost where I was going with the story, other than the fact that, like, it was just a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And unless you took the legs off, or you could make the table the same frequency as the fucking wall outside, make it meld through it.
Yeah, so it would just become part of it and would seamlessly just pass through.
Yeah, so I remember now. It's because inanimate objects piss me off when they don't do shit the way
Yeah.
that they're designed to do. Exactly what you're saying. Like, You're designed a specific way. You have one job. It's your only job.
Yeah.
You do nothing other than. And that's the same thought I have on a PC, is like, it does nothing but compute shit. It processes information. So when it stops doing that, I'm like, well, then what good are you? Like, what use are you if you don't do the one thing you're designed to fucking do?
Exactly. And that's why it's so infuriating. Think about this, though. And this kind of just occurred to me while you were talking. The fact that these machines, like in your example, something on a larger scale, like something mechanical that's going wrong, or like a car engine. That's pretty fucking simple in terms of like the engineering and stuff. Like the concept is pretty simple. And when you like look at the different parts of an engine and see like a really nice illustration on how it's all working together, it's like, oh, anyone can know what's going on in an engine.
Yeah, it blows my mind that it looks so intricate.
Yeah.
For suck, bang, blow.
Yep.
Like, but the insides can look fucking crazy to get the most out of the suck, the bang, and the blow.
Right.
But the concept of it is, like you said, very simplistic. Like, a child understands suck, bang, blow.
Yeah, well,
That
hopefully not too well, but...
Yeah, but I'm saying... that sounds like a game for adults, right?
Suck, bang,
Something
blow.
you get at fucking Hot Topic.
Yeah.
The board game. Suck,
New
bang,
from
blow.
Hasbro.
Hasbro, if you decide to do that, you owe us both 25%.
I thought you were going to say $25.
No, 25%.
I will
all
take
sales.
$25.
All sales, 25%. He will take 25% of all sales. Don't you undercut me.
Or $25, whichever's greater.
Don't you undercut me. We'll sell the shit out of that. I'll sell it to sex shops. Don't you play.
Oh, man.
We'll
Well,
sell
so
everyone.
what I was going to say, the fact that, like, engines, like, or let's take something more simple, like, let's say a woodworking box. You make a chest, right?
Yeah.
You use your hands, you're carving out some wood, you're making these little pieces, screwing it together. It's not going to be like mathematically, physically perfect. Everything is aligned right. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be errors. There's going to be the human element.
Yeah.
You know, that even if you were a master at woodworking, there's still going to be the human element, where if you made two boxes at even at like a molecular level, they're going to be different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to a degree. There's going to be, like, if you go to the molecular level, you're different just in
It's
the grain.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, the shape, the divots, and where the
The
wood
parts
has
of the
certain
tree.
amounts of bend and
Yeah,
all that.
exactly. So, but the crazy thing is like on the other side of thing, a microchip, like a computer chip, something that's being like laser engraved by a computer. Like, what I'm getting at is like all these things are ending up being made by computers.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, the computer can't even make something that is like 100% reliable, like a certain microchip or you know.
Agreed. Yeah.
And
I
so
mean,
it's like,
that's
what
why
the
we
fuck is
have
going
this
on
weird
here?
Chip shortage thing is because, like, it's fucking hard to make microchips, even with the technology that we have today to 3D print shit out of anything.
Yeah.
And still making a microchip is fucking so difficult that they have shortages on it, on the supply. Well, a lot of that has to do with fucking Joe and just like the whole shipping and all of that.
Yeah,
like
I'm sure there's
bunch of things
tariffs
that are
and,
just,
like,
the tariffs
different-
things. Like,
all
it
kinds of
starts with
stuff.
Trump, honestly, with the tariffs, and then the way that we've fucked up shipping and supply ports, and then all of the accidents that happened in like the Suez Canal, I think, and the Panama.
Yeah.
Both had accidents this
I'm
year.
sure, yeah. Because of the elevated traffic, I'm sure it's just, you're going to see more collisions, accidents,
Which
incidents.
like blocked off a bunch of shit, and then we had
Yeah.
stuff out in the port where like a ship was sinking and lost like 140
Containers?
crates in the ocean.
Out of here in Everett?
Yeah, in Seattle, I think. Seattle port lost like, it was gnarly.
I don't think I heard about that.
180 crew, like whole fucking containers full of TVs, household shit, clothes, video game systems, microchips, like all that shit dumped right off the center of this shit. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah. Well, speaking of accidents, dude, today on United States Highway number 2, there's a bridge, and on that bridge, it's two ways, two separate sides, east and westbound. They're separated by a large gap and probably a drop of about, 40, 50 feet to the ground
Yeah,
on
easily.
2 over the trestle.
Yeah, easily 45, 50.
So the point is, you can't just you can't just like flip a bitch and then go back on the other way. Like you
there's
are
no
stuck in that direction. You're effectively on like a freeway. You're on a one-way.
You're on a freeway floating 50 feet in the air.
Right. For
With
what?
Either a river under you or concrete.
Yeah, farmland.
Yeah. Well, most of the stuff directly under you is going to be the
Supports and everything.
supports
right,
and the roads.
right.
Like you're pretty well fucked. Like
Yeah.
So if you get lucky enough and you're at one of the exits and you can break the law ridiculously amounts and go the wrong way.
Dude,
opposite.
I almost did. I almost did today and here's why. I was driving around all day. I was working on a thing. I was trying to get some shit. I was very motivated and like I was in the zone, and all of a sudden I pull up onto 2, and as soon as I come and I round, they're very big, like sweeping corners that bring you onto this.
Yeah.
I was getting onto the eastbound or the westbound lane.
Yeah, you're coming from the east going.
Yeah,
west,
coming
right?
from Everett, getting on right there.
Oh, so you're coming from the west going to the east.
Yes, because Everett's by yeah. I get my directions mixed up.
Yeah, I live on the west side of stuff. When most people ask me, like, where do you live? I'm like, pretty much as far west and north as you can get
Yeah.
in Everett is where I am. So, like, anywhere else from there is either southeast or southwest.
Well, I damn near backed down this lane because I rolled up there and I saw just there's very big like walls on either side, and it's almost like a tunnel in the sense that you can't really see until you've committed to being on this highway. Like you get onto the exit from a good deal out.
It's literally a tunnel that you go through as you're coming around.
Depending on which direction you're coming from. But yeah.
Well,
So
if you're coming from Everett side, are you coming?
I was going like
down
off Hewitt. Like
off
or-
here, so you're coming from west, but did you drop through the tunnel section?
No. I was already in Everett, so I went under the overpass and then left at a stop sign to go up onto 2 towards Lake Stevens.
Oh, so you hit the
Yeah.
one that's closer to the east side of it, so you're on the outside of that tunnel, basically, where those two things connect.
Yeah, I basically
So you're
drove
coming
under
around this way,
I-5,
right?
drove right under the
Under
I-5
I-5 and you come
overpass,
up and
take a
over.
left, yeah.
Oh, well then, yeah, no, you went through the tunnel. Because if you take the exit and you go down and you make this kind of a turn,
But see, I'm coming from, I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about going through the tunnel, like from I-5, getting off.
yeah.
See, I'm talking about already being in Everett. I was coming off like Hewitt
So
Avenue
you
or
took
something.
this turn going up that way, right? Instead of turning left into it,
Yeah,
you
but I
turned
took
right into it.
I turned right up into the highway.
that's what I mean.
But I took a left to go
to
into that
get
big
it,
right turn.
To get
Yes.
onto that right
Yes.
turn. I'm saying, though, that the curve takes a right curve.
Yeah, it's a big gradual
the
right
tunnel
curve.
one's a left curve.
Yes,
That's
you are
the one
correct.
I'm most familiar with. That's why I was like, oh yeah, it is a tunnel. Like it's a literal actual tunnel. But I know what one you're talking about. You go through a little tunnel thing under the bridge.
Yeah, just under the
just
overpass.
to get under and get over and connect, which is this most terrifying one of those, because of the fact of what you're saying. You can't see a fucking thing that's coming at you, and you have a fucking short distance compared to the other two entrances that you're coming in from. The freeway one from
I-5
south
north.
to north.
Yeah.
It's a fucking, you just bloop, and you see everything from top
Right.
of you, and the tunnel one, it's fucked up because
The tunnel one at least puts
you
you
have
out
a
on the
long
side.
distance, and you have a long distance, and there's no one else there. You have to merge in with the people coming off of the freeway.
Yeah. And that always
And it's
fucks me
not
up there
long.
because like I think like, oh, I'm just driving along, I'm in a lane, and then all of a sudden the lane that you're
it's
in
no
is
there.
not a lane and someone is trying to get where you're at. Like
Yeah, and they cut because that fucking freeway gets lit up.
Yeah.
It's a shit pot of people the
Yeah.
whole fucking way.
oh my god, yeah. Well, especially being so close to Boeing.
Oh, dude, yeah,
That'll do
it's
it.
day and night. That thing is fucking crazy. When I leave here and I go home at say 9 or 10, it's still a line of traffic on that 41st exit
Yeah.
all the way through that onto 2. It's ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. The turn you made, that one's the scariest because you don't see the traffic
Yeah.
until it's too late.
Well, exactly. And so anyway, I pull up and I get out of this tunnel-like situation that we've been describing so
Yeah, they should have,
gracefully to the people.
they should be able to find this location in Everett, Washington.
Yeah, if
and
you can
know
find it on Google, if you're listening to this, well, if you can find that, on Google, take like a screenshot, send it into the email.
At the smokeshed podcast at gmail.com for now until I get our podcast email thing set up.
Yup.
And that will be the AZ podcast, A through Z.
A through Z. There you go.
Your name is?
Andrew, as far as I know.
It starts with an A. And my name is Zachariah. Someone told me that sounds like German or something.
Sounds like Hebrew.
Like that's what
I think it's a Hebrew name, actually.
It is exactly that. It is exactly that. And my name almost was Zechariah.
Zechariah.
Zechariah. But my mom thought
classy.
I would get fucking made fun of in school.
Zachariah seems like
90s.
Zachariah and Zach, like Zachariah less so, but like Zach was like a very popular name.
It is.
Like most people didn't go by the full thing. I don't know what you did like as a kid.
Zach.
Just Zach, yeah.
Or Z. That's why Z was good with me. Zorro
Yeah.
was one of my favorite people because he cut a Z and shit.
Oh yeah,
So I was like, I'm fucking cool with that.
that's dope.
I was even cool with people calling me Jack.
What's up, Jack?
Like, and it really didn't mean shit to me. Like, just don't call me Zachary.
Yeah.
If you're gonna say my name, say it at least correctly, or don't say my name
So
and call me.
so it's
something
not Zachariah, it's Zachary.
No, it's
technically?
Zachariah. That's
Oh.
why I don't want to be called Zachary.
Oh, okay. So you're
Yes.
saying Zachariah.
Yeah, or
nothing?
fucking anything else in the world. But if you're gonna say my name, at least say it correctly. You know, if you're gonna say the full thing, I'll do
feel
it.
you.
Did you burn
Uh-oh.
yourself? Are you burning? Are you on fire? Is he on fire?
The cherry fell out somewhere. I just
Oh,
don't
it's
know
fine.
where.
It's concrete down here.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's like in my pocket.
I got it. No, I got it.
Oh,
That's,
you did?
that's what I was tapping on.
Weed.
It went straight down.
Nice.
That's why I was like, "Are you on fire?" Looked like a cherry popped out on you.
But yeah, so back to this fucking accident, dude.
Yeah.
A big a dump truck on this it's it's a 2-lane highway. 2 lanes in each direction, but on certain times during the weekdays to like avoid creating traffic or help handle the heavy flow, they allow people to drive on the right shoulder.
Yeah.
There's no shoulder on the left, 2 lanes, and then a right shoulder that people can drive on certain times of day.
Yeah, which it isn't very noticeable that you can drive on it.
No, it's really
So,
skinny
like,
too.
If you don't live in that area or you don't travel through that area
If
very
you don't
often,
read the one sign, basically,
yeah,
like
that's at the almost the exit on that side. Like the little one way, because Casey used to live down there in the sloughs down there, and I used to party down there all the time because a kid I knew had property in there, and it's unincorporated. So if you own property, they can't really do shit to you. If it's locked up, the sheriff has to come out and they got to get a warrant. Most of them ain't gonna do it. They ain't got the time or the manpower. So when we were kids, we'd fucking go out there in this kid's 40 acres and just party.
Yeah.
Line up a bunch of trucks and shit. It was sick. But that sign is right there.
yeah.
So it doesn't help most of the time. And most people driving in this state are fucking idiots. So
Well, I found that to be true in every state, to be honest. Everyone's
you
dumb in
have-
a different way.
you have a way
Right.
of being able to say that because I haven't been anywhere else, so I can only speak about here.
I can
And
definitely
that
say people drive.
Makes me sad. What you just said broke my fucking heart.
It's everywhere, man.
God damn
It's
it.
everywhere.
All right, so tell me about this accident because I saw it on your story.
So
and
one of those giant dump trucks was carrying a shitload of dirt, like pay dirt. Somehow hit another vehicle and went sideways. It rolled over, and so it was sideways in the road on this 2-lane highway, and the rest of the road was blocked by this giant dirt pile that it had just freshly poured for everyone. So the whole freeway was just stopped. It was like nothing's happening. And I'm in that little pocket where the 2 lanes become one, the trouble pocket that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden everything stops and I'm thinking like, oh my God damn it. I can see sirens. Something.
you're good.
Okay.
The camera one of our cameras, if the screen went black, I don't know how long it's been black for, but I'm sorry.
Sincere
I don't know
apologies.
why it shuts itself off like that. It's very upsetting. See, it's back on now. I just got to touch it every so often. I got to check. I'm sorry, people. I got to put a screen back here so it doesn't,
Yeah.
I'm not distracting. I'm sorry. All right, so
They forgive you.
You hit the dirty pocket. The one we've been talking about.
I hit that dirty little pocket, and I get pinned in there, and I'm thinking I should just turn around right now. I should just turn around. I was the last person to come on the ramp. There's no one there. I can see. I should just turn around. And I'm like thinking about it in my head, and at the same time, I'm looking in my rear view. I'm looking in like in front of the car, trying to gauge the traffic, trying to see if like I see anyone moving anywhere. And like I'm looking up a hill, so it's hard. I can't see anything on the other side of this big hill except, hey, people aren't moving. Yeah. And I end up thinking about it for a second too long, and right up behind me rolls this giant like Dodge van, and this guy was like so close on my ass the whole time, and I'm just sitting there like, yo, you're sitting like 4 feet higher than me. You can see the ocean of cars. Yeah. Like where the hell do you think I'm gonna go?
That this isn't
yeah,
gonna
this
help
isn't happening
you at all.
And then he ends up in a giant van, mind you. He ends up trying to like navigate through this like sea of cars, like as if he's in a movie and he's on a mission and he has to get to the other side of the bridge. Something's going on, but it can't wait. This guy's it's his time.
Dude, I hope his wife was like in the process of giving birth to a baby like like an alien baby like Men in Black.
Yeah.
And they had to just right then and there.
Well, I sure as hell hope so.
Yeah, because that is insane.
Yeah, I ended up sitting there on the freeway, just stopped. I mean, people had parked their car. They were getting out. Like, people were just walking around and shit. And I had stopped. I was just chilling there, watching YouTube videos and stuff. And it was about an hour or so that I sat there. I would say about 45 to an hour, somewhere in there. I wasn't really keeping track after a while. Once we all shut our cars off and society started to break down, I just
oh my god,
just hanging out. But
I would have flipped my shit.
Well, I was pissed because like I said, I was like on a roll. I was in the middle of doing stuff. I was out on a mission. You know,
like you're banging shit out. Like shit's
I'm trying.
Getting done,
I'm trying, and all of a sudden,
the universe is like, hey, stop.
Nope.
Like,
yeah.
The fuck are you doing, universe?
Yo,
I was doing shit.
I left here at the wrong time yesterday too, and sat in Boeing traffic on the way home too. And it's like, dude, it's been a minute since I've sat in Boeing traffic, like all the way from the factory out, you know?
Oh my god!
Because that used to be every day.
I've done that a couple of times. It's fucked. It makes me so angry. I went and did a shoot in Kent, and I got stuck in the worst traffic I've ever seen. I was like, people do this like daily, but I would murder everybody in the world. There's no way I would have. I was literally on this semi truck's ass. Like I was gonna do something with my little tiny truck.
Dude, I think I read somewhere that the traffic that Boeing in Everett and Seattle create, like there's a stretch. I want to say it's the Boeing freeway out here. That through like that Tulalip exit in Marysville is like the slowest traffic in the world, like per capita or some shit like that. The percentage of people it slows down in the area.
The fastest I went in a 35-minute time was letting my foot off the gas pedal.
Yeah.
Or the brake and just coasting. Just the natural putt of my truck was too fast. I had to ride the brakes. I was so upset.
Slow down there, Turbo.
I know. And I finally got to an exit, and I'm like, fuck it. I'm taking it, and I'm going to find my way somehow without, like, real internet access. And my phone's not really working right now, so.
I'd straight up rather be lost on the back roads than stuck on the freeway.
Dude, 100%.
All day. I will get off
100%.
as fast as humanly possible. That's why I was so mad, because I was like, I'm on this rocket ship of a freeway right here. I'm in it for the long haul here. Like
you're here.
I can't go left. I can't go right. I gotta wait till we can all go straight.
Freeway.
Yeah,
one-way freeway with no way to turn around.
And it happens to be a section of the freeway that's a massive bridge.
Yeah.
Over a huge stretch of land and river.
Over a huge stretch of land, and the other direction is at least a 15, 20-foot gap to another bridge.
At least.
And there's no way you're making it over there.
I saw a bunch of people riding bikes, like up and down, like they were in the walking lane, you know? Like, because there is like a footpath on the side.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a couple people who were walking or who were riding bikes, like taking videos of people with their cell phone and shit. I wanted someone to like report back with like what's going on up there.
Yeah,
but
come
then
on back
you know what
and
I
let us
did?
know.
I think I vouched for this before, but I went on Twitter and I just looked. I searched Highway 2 trestle, and fucking sure enough, it was like a tweet, and it was this sheriff. Oh, dude, I'll read it. I'll read it live on the air.
Out. We're getting a tweet, boys and gents. Why is my light flickering?
I think I keep kicking it.
I'll move it. It's cool. My flicker light. Yeah, I've been moving it around a lot. I think it's getting a little loose.
All right, this tweet is from Trooper Rocky with Washington State Patrol. It says, Everett, 2-vehicle non-injury collision, East US 2, the trestle, just east of I-5, blocking all lanes. A dump truck is involved and rolled. The load it is carried spilled on the highway. Tows are en route. Expect a long delay to get this removed and cleaned up. Avoid the area.
Wish we would have got that tweet about 10 minutes earlier, huh?
Yeah. Well, at this point, I'd been sitting on the bridge for like a half hour when that tweet
you
got
got
fired
that
out.
tweet? Okay,
But
so
that was when I
at
figured out. That was finally when I
45
realized,
minutes
like, oh shit, I should look on Twitter. What's going on?
That's so nuts.
Because I was looking at Snapchat maps, which is not very reliable.
I've never used Snapchat maps.
Yeah,
it scares me. It shows a little like icon of you. I'm like, oh, they
I don't
tracking
have
my
that.
ass,
I don't
bro.
have that shit turned on.
I'm
But
tracking my ass. What? I can't even play with that shit. Fuck that. It shows me other people. I'm like, yo, they tracking you, bro.
yeah,
I
it
want to
does,
hit people up and be like, they tracking you.
You should realize, like, I feel like people maybe don't realize how trackable they are when they have that Snapchat
They have no
location
idea.
on. Like, no, you can straight up just look at like the building that someone's in. If they're in a house, it's like, oh, here's where they
What
are in their
block,
house.
What street? You
Yeah.
can zoom right on in.
Straight
like,
up.
You know exactly what fucking building. Like, if there's a row of fucking 10 different department stores,
Yeah.
it will show you exactly which one they're
There's a
standing
row of 10
in,
different houses.
how far in they're in the fucking building. Like, it's very much got a fucking track on your head. I turn that shit off immediately. I'm almost gonna uninstall the app. That shit scares the shit out of me. I just got a TikTok and now I'm even more scared because that shit has had fucking problems since the jump. Chinese Communist Party. But I only post like 3D renders on there. Go check it out. Cho Simba 1. The number 1.
What was that? Say that again for the people.
Cho Simba 1.
Cho Simba 1?
Yes. It's from Kung Pao, Enter the Fist. When he shows up out in this field and it's the Lion King thing. And like
Simba.
he comes out and he's like, Simba. And he's like, no, I am the chosen one. He's like, oh, yes, right. Cho Simba 1.
Cho Simba 1.
Yeah.
There we go.
I've had it as a gamer tag and shit for a long time.
Nice.
It's like, yeah. Or Funky Butt Loving. Catch me on them fucking COD streets, boy.
Yup.
Get clapped.
Yeah, I'm surprised that hasn't got you. I'm surprised they haven't made you change that.
I have it. Oh, yeah. Funky Butt Loving.
John made one that was butt penis, but he had to do two E's in penis
Dude, yeah.
or 3 E's.
I was going to do like anal rape sphincter.
Oh yeah, that would definitely not work.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Hard
They're
flag
like,
on the
this
R
is
word there.
Fucking. I tried to do retarded.
Yeah, I'm sure
Definitely
that doesn't
did
work
not
either
work
way.
either. I was like, that would be hilarious though. People would freak out.
Yeah, that's
You might never die in COD. It might be a new cheat. It'd be like, I can't be like the guy that had just killed retard.
well, then that would be problematic.
That's what I'm saying. So all the snowflakes and shit, they would never shoot me. It would be great. I would win every match.
Well, there you go.
And I would do it so for retard kind.
Like a shining beacon of hope
Yeah.
for all of man.
Like the Ringer.
There you go.
Wasn't that a shining beacon of hope?
I'm sure to some.
I figure we gotta get somewhat controversial. We'll never get views.
Yeah, that's true.
Motherfuckers gotta. It's cool. I'll be the heel.
It's all right.
I'll be the heel. It's just jokes, people. You need to calm down. With
Calm
it.
down. It's okay.
It's all right. We're not talking about trannies yet.
Not yet. That's next week.
Yeah, we leave that for Dave Chappelle.
We leave that for Mechanics Corner.
Mechanics Corner. They've been talking
Part
about
of the
it.
show where we talk about mechanic
Mechanic
stuff, like
stuff.
trannies.
Like transmissions. You gotta say transmission. Can't even say training for a transmission.
Dude,
That's
so
terrible.
check this out. It's funny you say that. I sold a car. The first car I ever bought was a 95 Mazda Protege. I bought it from my older sister. And I bought it from my older sister for $400, I believe, something like that.
Sick.
I got a steal
Yeah.
of a deal. I mean, I want to say I was like 17 maybe at the time, so
Yeah, I mean,
you
that's
know,
a good deal.
first car, yeah.
I bought a Dodge Daytona from just a dude, this old black dude walking down the street in Seattle.
Just bought it right off him.
Dude, yeah, he was right out in front of a Safeway, just walking down the sidewalk. I didn't realize he had the car at that Safeway. I thought he was just a guy walking down the sidewalk. He's like, "You want to buy a car?" I was like, "How much?" He's like, $200. I was like,
Ooh.
"You got the title and shit?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's do this."
That's a score right there.
It was a score. The transmission went. Speaking of trannies, went out within like 3 weeks, but I had it for a month driving around, which was pretty cool. At least 1 month of driving around with this Dodge Daytona was pretty cool.
Dude, for $200, you got your money's worth.
Yeah, right.
Pretty much.
But
Well, so I got this car, and I ended up selling it a couple years later, and I met up with this girl. I believe I posted on Craigslist. This girl I met up with, she was like a young mom, and she brought someone with her that was like, to inspect the car, to
look at it.
yeah, just like to help her out, right? Well, the guy she chooses to bring is not exactly what I would call cut out for the job. He is about as flamboyant as you can be, and he's like super tall, super lanky. He's wearing like nice clothing and stuff, and he just looks so out of place, like trying to open the hood of this car. And after he can't, and I do it, he takes a look and he's looking around and he starts asking some questions. And he asked like, he asked how everything was. And I told him like, yeah, everything runs good. I recently replaced the tranny. And he was like, what? The what? And he like started freaking out. And I was like, the tranny, I replaced the tranny. It's new. Like, I had no idea. This was like breaking news to me that this was at all offensive to anybody. And because I mean, this is like probably what, 2000, like
yeah,
2011,
before, like Twitterverse fucking blew up, and all like people were demons and demo and fucking lollipops and fucking sugar corn fairies and shit.
It was before anyone knew about it, that's for sure.
That's before there were a billion different types of gender.
Yeah.
Before there was like cross-dressers, actual trannies, like people that were born with both sex parts. And a lot of those people are either pushed at childbirth with a little bit of estrogen or a little bit of testosterone,
Like from their parents or something?
Yeah. Depending on what sexual organ seems more developed. And then it pushes the child more towards that. And that's why we have some people that have very low testosterone as males, and that's why they're very feminine. I have friends and a bunch of other people that are very feminine. But I know gay people that are also very masculine. Yeah. But they don't have a problem with the word tranny.
Yeah.
It's a fucking word for either a transmission, if you're talking about a car, especially. Like, no one should get offended about that.
In that context, yeah, it's just shorthand. But I had like I said, like I didn't know that I was offending anyone by saying that. Like I could tell that this was not like a cis white male bro I was standing next to. You know what I mean? But I didn't I wasn't thinking. I just thought nothing of it, and so I was confused. And anyway, she ended up buying the car, and then the next day she totaled it on State Avenue in Marysville, but never did her end of the paperwork. So I got sent all these towing bills. I got sent a ticket for abandoning a vehicle like on a street. And then I had to go fight this I sold the car, and it was not pleasant. It was not a good experience.
Yeah, no, that's fucked up.
And I was like, well, shit, I guess I'm not going to call it a tranny anymore. Because that whole situation ended poorly for me.
God damn. Yeah.
But
I mean, I still call it a tranny. I still call trannies trannies. That's what they are. Or transvestite. That sounds worse to me than tranny. Tranny sounds nicer.
Transvestite sounds like a
That's a medical terminology.
That sounds offensive.
That sounds more offensive to me.
Trannies to me sound. Tranny seems
but a
like
transvestite is what they are. Like that's
like the medical.
That's
or like
the medical
scientific
definition.
Term.
It's
I mean,
like
it depends
the
on who
Latin
you're actually
version.
talking about. Like,
yeah, but that's like that. Even if you're thinking of like people that claim to be trans and they cross dress or act feminine and they're male.
yeah.
Then that's what they would call medically, well, what they used to call medically until recently, but it would be a sexual dysphoria.
Right.
So you're having these dysphoric thoughts that you are this thing that you are biologically not.
You talking like dysmorphia?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I thought there was a syllable. An extra syllable in there somewhere.
Yeah, but
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
But that would be those things. And so that's the medical definition. Like that's what we were taught growing up.
Right.
And then you have actual transvestites, which are born with male and female, which happens in all animal species. Like people forget we're animals. We think we're better than. Well, we're not. We're the same fucking thing. That's why I say even like with gay people, you see fucking dogs fuck other male dogs. It really doesn't mean shit. Like that's something that definitely happens. Like
you just saying like there's nothing unnatural about it.
That's not unnatural. Yeah, that's why
Right.
I don't find it to be unnatural. You find it in most species on the fucking planet that it happens. It's just it's not helpful to reproduction because it's impossible. Like
At least for now. You never know.
yeah. Well, if as of right now they claim that men can get pregnant, and you're either a menstruating person. That's the new term. You're menstruating persons.
Well,
Because men can get pregnant now.
can they?
According to the fucking world, according to the woke culture, men can be pregnant because trans females that claim to be men that keep their uterus and vagina and get pregnant, they are men that got pregnant because they're real men. They're not just claiming that
So,
they're men.
like going per their like desired pronouns
makes reality something completely different
is
in their
becoming
eyes.
like it's having like a legal ground, like as in like
I don't know if it's
would
legal,
a child
but it's in,
be
like, the woke-
birthed to, like in terms of like the technicalities of what would have to be filled out, like for
on
government
paperwork?
information.
I have no idea. That's a
You
good
know?
question. I've never seen anybody
Because, look,
report on that specifically,
it-
and I don't know if they could because of HIPAA law.
Well, and if that's not the
Unless
case
someone
where
decided
like
to come out publicly, one of you out there, if you're trans and you want to come out and see on the birth certificate that it says male father
I'm sure
and
that's
male
out there
father.
somewhere. I mean,
I guarantee there's a woke enough doctor that filled that out somewhere. It's like, yeah, you are a man, even though you just gave birth out of your vagina from your fallopian tubes.
dude, I mean, see the way I see it is like, it just doesn't make any difference for me personally. And I feel that way with a lot of things, but like to me it's like, dude, I still got to wake up and go to work in the morning either way. Like, if you want to feel a certain way, if you want to do a certain thing, like I feel like I get to do almost anything I want, like within reason. Like I get to enjoy my life and do the things that I want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and so if someone else is out there and they're
slippery
just trying to
slopes
like,
exist.
well, sure, but like that's
the
why I'm
thing.
saying like if you're talking about like from a legal standpoint,
Which it does become legal
which
at this
at a
point.
certain point I'm sure it will, but like society has always done, the ones that have kept going, things will change and things will be adapted to what the people are doing and what the people want.
But see, that's the thing, is when you look at societies over history, it's when they start doing these kinds of things that those societies collapse.
Well, probably.
So that's where the fear comes. Is like
I
it's
think
not
I
a
think
far
it's more
run
like
from when you start telling reality is what you feel instead of what it is, and it's just okay because I don't want to deal with it. It's not. Then you get fucking the shit we have going on right now. Like
yeah, but I mean, how does like to a counterpoint, like how some people want to be referred to have, like how is that gonna bring the walls of society down if we want to have
It only does
people...
when it becomes what they are pushing on to people. You are a racist, or you're a bigot, or you're a bad person
Yeah, but-
because you mistake me for something because I don't know what if you look like a female and you claim that you're a male, and I call you and I misgender you, well, now I'm the bad guy. It only has to happen one time. You don't have to do it on purpose for you to be a bigot.
Well, if that is the case where someone is labeling you that way after one
That's
pure
what is the
accident,
case.
then that's obviously ridiculous.
Yeah,
you know.
but they don't see it that way. They see that statement you just made as bigoted.
Okay, but you're talking about the extremes here, you know.
But-
and of course, it's like part of the mainstream right now.
Yeah,
just
that's
right
the-
now.
that's
and
the
it's
scary
also
part.
it's like it's on the tail end. Like even the people that are sort of
Yeah.
part of that movement it's hitting that like 5-6 year mark where it's like this is like
A lot of people
we
have
might have
started to
gone a little
notice-
far in some areas. And I'm
We-
not talking about giving people rights as going too far. I just mean like in the enforcement of like, hey, you can't even feel a certain way about this. You have to feel the way that we all feel about this. Otherwise, you are blank.
Which is
which is like, hey,
crazy
you
thing.
think that? That's your right. Have
The
have
thing
fun
that
with
I
that.
find,
But
see, what you just said right there is what I find crazy about it. Is these are the people telling you how to feel about a thing and saying that because you're not feeling that way about a thing, you don't feel any way about a thing.
Well-
And whatever you think is completely wrong. That's also been pushing politics. Like the Canadian Prime Minister said something about, it was a she-demic.
she-demic?
Yeah.
What does
to
that
make it
mean?
more inclusive to the female population.
Are you talking about the pandemic?
The pandemic. He
Calling it
called
the
it a she-demic and a she-covery for recovery.
Okay, hold on. Was this like a thing for like National Women's Day? Was this like a
No,
PR thing?
This
or
is
like
the
what is
PR
this? We need
thing.
some context.
It's a PR thing basically because he was being inclusive because he's part of this very woke culture and it's
Is he a
starting to
young guy?
He is a younger guy.
Is it
in
Trudeau?
Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can look it up. Like when it's getting into politics and shit like that, that's when I'm saying it gets scary because when we look in history, when that starts to happen, the society starts to fall.
Well, we
And
are also.
I don't want to die.
That's true, but we're a great experiment. This country.
We
is.
are, but
and
we
it's
could
hard
be
to say.
better.
Hey, these societies did these things, and X resulted in Y. Therefore, if we do those things or similar things, the same thing will happen. When I do feel like, especially when you go
But
back
it's-
different points in history, like the world is so much different than it has ever been. Like those.
It gets faster.
Yeah, well,
That's
hey, if you
really
want
it.
my personal opinion, like we ain't gonna last that long, anyways. Like it's all over.
I agree with
At
that.
this point,
but I wanna
all it
stop
takes
it
is
as
for
much
like
as possible.
literally three people out of like the whole 8 billion, 9 billion, whatever we're
To
at.
say it's over.
Three people do a certain little button on a keypad. Everything
over.
is over, man. So it's like,
Yeah,
What
I
are-
get that.
you
There's
know?
volcanoes that could erupt in the middle of nowhere and it's fucking over.
I'm
and
just trying
we
to
have no-
enjoy my day. You know what I'm
dig
saying?
that. But I also, I don't know. I feel like history lives on, right? One way or another, history's lived on to a
Yeah,
degree.
Sure.
Or they might be trying to kill it now, and that happens in
That has been
in
done,
war.
or it's been
It-
attempted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
multiple times. But still, even history from the history of Alexandria, when they tried to burn that entire library, parts of history have come through. And if my history ever comes through, I want it to show that I stood for something, no matter what. Like I stand for the fact that people should be able to believe what they believe without pushing it upon other people. That's the
Yeah.
I don't think religion should do it. I disagree with religion for doing it. I hate
Politics
evangelists.
for doing it.
I hate politics for doing it. I hate the fact that money's in politics. Like you're supposed to be a
sucks.
public servant. How the fuck are you able to make more money than the public?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Than all of the public. It makes zero
And
sense.
the more you
It's
think
not what
about it, all the worse
founders-
it gets.
Yeah, it's not what, like, if you read the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, it's not what was designed. Like, there's a lot of things that were put in place, and then we've amended things in order for those things to happen because people didn't pay enough attention, and it just happened. My grandparents' generation, my parents' generation, they didn't care.
So, let me ask you this then: are you basically saying that your belief is essentially then that like the way that these guys wrote up all the documents and everything for like the Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, all this stuff is like they made it with a certain thing in mind, and we have strayed from that? Is that
Very much
essentially
so,
what you're saying?
yes. And we've allowed people in politics, in power, to stray us from that, to legally bind themselves to be able to do it, and we didn't pay any attention.
Yeah. Well,
up until recently, up until Trump, people didn't watch court cases. People didn't watch fucking anything on politics. No one knew shit about politics.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and so now people are all into politics and understanding the shit, but they don't go and actually read like what the foundation of the country was built upon. I have that little booklet of the Constitution and the Declaration.
Little pocket Constitution.
Yeah, and I read it all the time. And looking at like what the founders implied by what they were trying to do is get away from a kingship. And they wanted everybody to be their own king. That's why George Washington denounced being a king. They wanted, instead of being president, they wanted to make him king. And he said, no. Yeah. And he said, well, you be president for life then. He said, no, it needs to be an electoral process. The people's vote needs to be a thing. Yeah. And then it needs to be the representation of those people. So we separated those powers out so it would be less fucked up from state to state. And we've allowed money and people that, what's the fucking word I'm thinking of when there's companies that send these people.
Like lobbyists?
Yes, lobbyists. And we've
I always see them when I'm in the lobby of places.
It's ridiculous. It's retarded. They're in every fucking lobby. It's insane. They just sit there.
Every hotel, there's always one of them just sitting there.
Behind the desk, just chilling.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing.
And I usually tell them to fuck off, and then I have a hard time getting things I want there.
I know, it's insane.
It's wild.
And they ask for money every time.
Come on, I know you work for the big corporation.
You got the money. You're trying to give it to the politicians.
Let me guess, you got scales under that hoodie too, huh, bro?
It's exactly it. They're giving some cocaine out there. Fucking blowjobs in the back of limos, you know? That's politician shit. These are the people trying to suck adrenochrome out of kids. That's like right out of the fucking super conspiracy handbook right there. You ever heard of that conspiracy? The adrenochrome?
Oh yeah, that's some Alex Jones shit.
That's way deeper than Alex
Turning
Jones.
frogs gay.
Yeah, you know that came out to be true.
Really, the gay frogs.
The story that he was reporting on that came out to be true. There's a black trans, believe it or not, man that did test on the frogs at that lake and proved that the chemicals that they were dumping inside of the water was changing the sex and turning the frogs gay.
Oh my god, well that's hilarious, but
someone actually went and reported 10 years later on it and found out that it was true. I was blown away.
If they're trying to do that to make some sort of like genetic gay thing, like that's nothing new because they've been doing.
It wasn't even genetic.
There was a gay bomb they made. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of the gay bomb.
This was just an accident of them pouring chemicals that just so happened to turn these frogs sexed from male to female.
So okay,
female to male.
Was it some secret like evil agency trying to do something with like the gay frog water or something?
No, I don't think so. I think it was just people poured all these chemicals into a fucking pond that they probably shouldn't have because like pouring chemicals into any water source of ours is terrible, especially freshwater sources. Yeah. And then it just so happened to turn these frogs gay. But because of how fucking crazy that dude is when he's talking and yelling at the fucking microphone and the frogs are fucking gay, it sounds ridiculous. When I heard it, I was like, oh, this motherfucker's crazy. He's smoking all the meth in the world. How do you have, how does your vein not blow out of the fucking side of your neck when you're as fat as he is and yelling at a microphone for 8 hours? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's like Trump. He had to be on methamphetamines. There's no way somebody his age is fucking out walking around, jiving, fucking up 24 fucking hours a day and sleeping 4 hours a night. My ass. I sleep 6 to 8, baby.
And you know what? I'm going to say something about Trump here. This might be controversial, but I don't think that was his natural hair color. I'm going to say that right now.
No, he's definitely, how dare you?
There's something up. Something's up there with that wispy little wasp of hair.
It's because he has fucking super jet black hair, and he doesn't want people to know that he's actually Elvis Presley.
Oh, man.
That's why he gained so much weight and, like...
It's true.
Wears suits all the time.
Dude, I saw this pretty...
Shave his head.
I saw a pretty funny video. It was like it was a video from some event that... It was like a QAnon... They thought that JFK was coming back to life.
Oh, yeah.
And that he was going to be at this certain parade or at this certain, like, Hobby Lobby in, like, Florida somewhere.
So intense.
And a bunch of people were, like, waiting out there. And, like, they legit, like, had signs. And they were they were sitting there waiting for, I think it was Elvis was going to be there, JFK, maybe Nixon too. Like they were
Tupac
all,
and Biggie were supposed to come.
they
back
were
with
probably
them.
the musical acts. Yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like this whole thing, and they were all gonna show up back from fucking
Yeah,
death.
and declare. The thing is, they were going to declare, like, into law that Trump is the president. He's the forever president. Yeah,
that
he
he's gonna be
earned
the
it. He
new
got
king.
a certain amount of, XP points while he was in there. Fired off enough spicy tweets,
People are
and he's
so
become the king forever.
Fucking crazy.
It's
man.
wild, man, and
It's crazy.
There's
The fucked
wildness. If you got your little mini map of a life, right, and you're the dot in the middle, and you got a little like halo radar, you're walking around. If you go to any edge of that in any direction, that little map, it's just crazy out there.
Oh, it's fucking 100% crazy. I love it. Watching the crazy.
Yeah, you got to put
and
your head in
seeing
there
the
sometime.
different
But
things of it, I used to be really into like the ancient aliens theories. And shit
yeah,
like
same
that,
here.
right?
Same here.
I still love the concept, but then if you like really look deeper into anything, you'll find the disproof. If you're really looking for it, you'll find it.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you'll find whatever you're really looking
Want.
for either
That's
way.
why you always have to resource all your source work. Like you have to get multiple sources because the truth is always in the betweens.
Yep.
Right? Like even in the news, there's a certain amount of truth in the in-betweens. You just have to find the common denominator because the common denominator is going to be the truth. Like is as close to the truth as you're ever going to get with everybody trying to get your attention and clickbait and every fucking thing else. Like, and people in the news, they pay people just to do that shit. Just for clickbait, because that's their fucking revenue. That's how they make money. Newspapers burned and fucking went to hell. Like, that was a big fucking profit loss for every news corporation.
Well,
in
for
the
every
world.
printing company too.
Yeah, printing companies went out of business
For
because
real.
of it. Like, that was their entire business, was printing the newspapers. Fuck, you either adapt or die. Like, and it's
Remember the
fucked.
little nickel, dude?
Oh my god, yeah.
Dude, shout out to the little nickel. We haven't done any shout outs in a while. I'd like to offer a very hearty shout out to the little nickel.
The Little Nickel is an amazing newspaper, and I wish that you were still around. You were like a yellowish green. It was a beautiful thing. I loved you, the way that you flickered, the paper, the print, the smell.
I wish I had a gong. I would.
Tickles my whiskers.
Yeah, the little nickel, man. Pour one out. I mean, they might still be out there somewhere, but
They might be.
they're probably online if they're smart at all. They've got an app now or something. But
Yeah, or some kind of website.
then again, I
right?
haven't heard of it in a long time. But little nickel used to be the shit because it would come in. It was free. That was the best part.
Yeah, you could pull it out of
Yeah,
the
it was free. It
actual
came in
news
one of
sites.
some of the old newsstands. I guess, dude, kids that are listening to this, if there's any kids listening, you're not gonna.
They have no idea what the fuck
Yeah,
we're
you're not
talking
gonna know
about.
what we're talking about.
Like
But
newsstands, what the fuck is that?
there used to be these little. Usually, they were in the shape of like a house for some reason.
Yeah,
like a
they
big
were like
plastic
little fucking
house.
Plastic house,
And it was like
front door.
an oven door where you grab it and it pulls out like this, and you grab a free paper from the inside, and
It was
some of
beautiful.
them you'd have to pay for. Like the actual newspaper, it was usually like 25 cents. You drop a quarter in there, and then pull the little handle down and get your paper. And there was different newspapers. There was different things you could get, different little stands all side by side. But the little nickel was sick because it was free, and it was just like probably 15 pages or so of just car ads. It was basically surfing Craigslist before Craigslist.
Yeah,
Craigslist
exactly.
was like the digital version of.
That's how
Little
Craigslist, I
Nickel.
feel like, got their idea.
I'm
Was
sure,
watching
yeah.
like whatever the Little Nickel is and wherever Craigslist started. But I know that's basically what Amazon came up with. They were like the Yellow Pages, Little Nickel, and then books. Like that's basically what they started with, was like doing kind of like giving you locations of places. and
Information.
information and then
yellow
books.
yellow pages in general are wild if you think about it too.
Oh
Think
my
about
God.
nowadays, like, oh, this motherfucker over here at Sandy's fucking pie shop. I hate that guy. I think he spit in my pie, and I know his name's Brandon. So like, you look him up in the yellow
actual
pages,
Yellow
and like,
Pages,
if you
find
find
his
his
phone
name,
number.
boom, you got his address, you got his phone number. I'm
got his
sure some of them
full
had like
legal name?
business numbers and like places they worked or associates or something like that.
Oh, 100%.
You could just
100%.
find whatever. You could find all this info on whoever just by grabbing the book.
And the book was massive.
It was huge. Yeah,
would have
it had everyone.
everybody.
Yeah,
It's insane.
I think if I remember right, you had to pay them. I think it was like over $1,000 a year to not put your information in there. And there's
That's
there
insane.
there is a separate entity
What
that
happened to
they
privacy,
take
huh?
they take those like people that pay to not have that information there. They collect those people's information, and then for a very high price, you can pay as an advertiser to target those people with their
specifically.
information, right? And then the people, it's like just an upper class advertising layer, underneath just the stupid Nike ads and shit that we see.
Yeah,
us
which
plebes.
is insane. That's insane. So it's exactly what the internet process of advertising is now, except they can just do it way better.
Yeah.
And way more of it.
Well, nowadays you really can't stop it. I mean, if you're like deep into some Android shit and like running really custom stuff, I'm sure you can like Superman shield yourself from everything.
That's the problem with the iPhones.
But yeah, man, if you have a smartphone, I hope this isn't a
connected to
news flash to anybody. If you
It
have a
is to some.
smartphone,
I guarantee it is. to
okay, you hear a lot of people that like, I don't want a microchip in my blood. I don't want this vaccine because I don't want a microchip.
You
I
got
don't know
it.
how many people are serious about that, okay? But even if you are, you're carrying that microchip around everywhere you go.
It's
By the
part
way,
of you.
your car, if it's any newer than like 2017, 2018, I can almost guarantee you it has some sort of tracking technology.
Even then, at 20 fucking before the 2000, even at 2000, unless it's fully mechanical, if it's got electronics in it, I don't trust it.
Yeah.
Like if it's fully mechanical, like a fucking old Volkswagen or something like that, like this makes that go.
Mm-hmm.
Then I trust it a little bit more. But without that, any computer can be hacked. Like
Yep.
like people used to say that they could hack cars back in the fucking 80s.
I'm sure they could. Well, the wiring was a hell of a lot more simple back then too.
Yeah.
You're talking about
man,
like
that's scary.
seriously slimmed down like ECUs and everything. Like
And the thing is, like anybody that used computers back then, you had to learn to code.
yeah.
Because like that's
Because
how you
otherwise,
used a
that's all you see on the screen, baby.
Yeah, it's fucking zeros and ones.
Ain't no
so, like,
mouse.
yeah, if you didn't know binary and shit,
Yeah.
you weren't fucking playing. If you couldn't code shit, you didn't
Mm-hmm.
fuck around with the computer. It wasn't like what you see on a Windows computer today or a Mac.
Yeah.
It was Macs are closer to that because you can do all of that, and you can do it on Windows if you know how to fucking code. But it wasn't what like if you were learning computers, then that was it. That was the language. That's how you used them. And hackers that could phone freak and shit, those are the guys that ended up in prison. Like phone freaking was like one of the first hacking. When you would use the dial tone thing and put it on the ding ding ding. That dude fucking hacked the Pentagon with that.
Yeah.
It's insane. In
Wow.
like the late 70s, early 80s, phone freaking.
You ever fuck with Phone Zoo?
No.
So Phone Zoo was a site where you could go on if you had a cell phone. You could go on there. I think it might have worked with home lines too, but you could go on there and you would type in your phone number. This was like 2005, 2006, Windows XP.
Yeah.
You go on phonezoo.com and you type in your phone number, and then you type in the number that you want your number to appear as, and then you can call someone through there. So we would type in our phone number and then write like 911 and call people, and on their phone it would show 911 is calling you. Everybody answers when 911's calling, and we would call and tell them like, "Oh, your waffles are burning," or some dumb shit, and like hang up like dumb little kids. But
oh my god, that's
dude,
amazing.
and we used to spoof the shit out of people and like use that like strategically for trying to like get away with things.
oh my god. Yeah, fucking call your own parents and shit.
Well, you can
On
make
the
it look like you're
school.
getting a call from
Yeah,
anyone.
yeah.
Like, oh, my phone's ringing. Oh, it's my mom. Hold on. Gotta take
Hello.
this. Oh, yeah, I gotta go.
I'm out. That's smart as shit. I wish I would have known about that. We were on E-Bombs World too much.
Shit, that might have been where I learned it, honestly.
Oh, fuck. I was always watching people fall off of buildings and shit. It's fucked up. I got a morbid sense of humor. I don't know why.
Yeah, horrible or hilarious,
Did
right?
you see the live?
I've
I
heard they
gotta
kind of
s-
suck now.
Yeah, it's not as
Like,
great.
they're kind of going downhill.
It's not as
The lives, not like the show. But
yeah, but no, like the lives. I didn't see the last couple, so
I heard Joe Rogan wasn't, like, great.
he wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. Like,
I love
I
Joe.
loved Joe for years. Like, I never listened religiously, but he was always like, if I'm scrolling, I can't find something to listen to. Yo, I'll throw on a couple of Joe Rogans.
Yeah, I
if I'm at
usually
work, but-
listen to other comedy podcasts, and then like if he has someone intellectual on,
Yeah,
I'll
it depended
listen
on
to
who
that.
it is, or
But-
like a skate, or someone that I recognize
Yeah.
from another
Like
interest I
Snoop
had.
Dogg one was good.
Yeah,
That was a pretty
I
good
did
one.
listen to that one, at least most of it.
Uh,
That song you dropped on there was sick.
Sick, yeah.
Yeah.
He like straight up had a concert. Like
Yeah.
Joe Rogan got a free concert from fucking.
I love that it was
one-on-one
like not
concert
planned
in
at all.
his own
Snoop
shit.
Dogg, that's just like
Comes
the
in with a
clout
mic
that
and
Snoop
just-
Dogg has. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna come on to this like the #1 podcast in the world. I don't know if it still is, but like,
Yeah,
you know,
I think it is.
effectively the #1 podcast in the world. And like,
Biggest
yeah,
in
we're
the
just
world,
gonna do
yeah.
this now. I'm gonna drop a song. Like, we're just gonna hang
Just
out
fucking
and like
chill. And
yeah.
he rolled blunts the whole goddamn
Yeah.
time while
Backwoods,
smoking
right?
blunts. It was the gnarliest shit. I was like, I need to smoke with Snoop. I need to outsmoke Snoop. I need to know that it can be done.
Dude.
This motherfucker is just rolling blunts, smoking blunts, rolling blunts, smoking blunts. He was the Snoogin song.
Yeah, yeah.
It was insane. 15
Oh,
bucks,
baby.
little man. Put that shit in my hand. If the money doesn't show, then owe me, yo. My jungle love. Oh, yo. I think I
Yeah,
wanna
yeah.
know you. I fucking love Jay and Silent Bob. That shit is great.
Dude, whenever I think of like smoking blunts, I think of Blueberry Yum Yum
Oh,
by
yeah.
Ludacris.
Yeah, they got that blueberry yum yum.
That
yum,
was the
it's
song,
a
dude. We would bang
fire,
that just-
fire. Love that
Yeah.
shit. That was my shit. Ludacris was the first rapper that I enjoyed.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was not into rap very much when I was really young.
me either.
And then Ludacris, Move Bitch, Get Out the Way.
Move, bitch.
Get out the way.
Dude, it's iconic.
Dude, that shit had me, it fucking hit something in my soul that it just didn't even know was there.
Oh my
It was the
God.
most ridiculous shit. I think me and 5 people got on tricycles out in Savannah, Arlington, and taped a boombox to one of them, and we were just tipping through all of
Hell
Savannah
yeah.
with Move Bitch, Get Out the Way. It was ridiculous. We were like fucking 10 years old.
God damn, that's hilarious.
Oh man, it was a good time. Yeah, that was my shit. And so I got into Ludacris and then Kings of Crump. Like Little John and shit, I really
Yeah.
dig their shit. That was the first album I bought. Yeah, that was my first like rap album was Kings of Crunk album.
I went heavy down like Lil Wayne, Hot Boys, like Big Timers, old
Yeah.
like that older
Older
Lil
Wayne.
Wayne era, yeah,
Yeah, I
up to
got
like Carter
into-
3 or so.
I got into Lil Wayne and Fireman and
Yeah,
like
Fireman's coming.
yeah, and Go DJ.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's got a unique ass voice.
I don't know.
Fuck.
I don't know if you ever listened to Birdman and Lil Wayne. They had an album that was like father, like son.
Oh yeah.
That
It's
shit, that's one of my
Leather
favorites.
So soft, I think. is
Yeah,
on
dude.
that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
So good.
Army guns. I
Yeah,
got army
Army
guns.
guns.
Dude, yes. That song has that album has so many such like
Dude, all of
they're
his-
classics.
The dedications are amazing.
You know what's cool too is like a lot of that album was like studio instruments that they recorded like
Yeah,
you know,
inside the
which is
actual-
like that's sort of like a last bastion of that era of when everything was done live,
a couple
you know,
people have tried to bring it back, but
Mhm.
it's more like the
sampling.
Bruno Mars style
Right,
people
right.
that
It's more like
already
a
play
jazz
instruments and
funk.
shit,
Yeah.
and they bring in like other instruments into the mix.
And a lot of it is like horns. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a lot of trumpets,
a lot of trumpets,
horns.
piano,
violins.
violins, keyboards, trumpets, some drums.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll see some live drummers come into shows with people, but they have like synth kits added to the live drum shit, and that's nice for a live show with rap. If you can get like a drummer to come in and blast your beats for you,
Yeah.
on the shit while you're actually rapping your shit. Today's rappers, man, are sad as fuck when it comes to like show shit. They just go out there. The music is like an MP3 file
Mm-hmm.
of the song, and then they just rap over themselves.
They just do like the ad libs too a lot of times.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
fucking
Just
like.
every fourth.
You should cut the whole verse out and have
And do
the
that
ad
live.
libs in there.
Mhm.
That's the only thing should be in the verse spot is like ad libs and shit, unless you got a hype man with you.
Mhm.
But if not, you use those as your breath breaks,
Mhm.
and you rap the rest of your shit out.
Well,
And you
a lot of people
practice
don't
that,
practice performing before they go perform.
which is insane to me.
And furthermore, a lot of people, unfortunately, even when they do practice, like they just fail to maybe have the certain like timing and the certain sense of rhythm and the ability to like stay with their song while they're performing, you know, because it's really sad to see someone who's just lost in the song and they have no idea. They just have no idea. They're just they're like, you know,
That's
going
one of the
like a bull.
hardest
They
things
have,
I have. Like when I was in bands and shit, is
Yeah.
like I had my counting and keeping like that count. Like I'm on 3 when I should be at 4. Like
so you're just like
I'm
off.
off.
Yeah.
And so like I had to get good at listening to who was here and keeping with that, instead of really just counting it out.
Yeah.
Like I had to figure another way of doing it. And that's why I stopped like doing bands, because like keeping even a 16 count at 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, it was hard as shit to do that and think of what I have to do at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't have that capability.
Yeah, and it seems like for people that can do it, it's like it's just a feeling. It's not so much like you have to even count it, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
so that's how I started. Instead of trying to overthink it,
Yeah.
I would just feel it out. Like you kind of feel when the shift and the change should go,
Exactly.
as long as you're listening to everything else that's going
well,
on.
and
you
it's
just
assuming the other people are playing at the
playing
right
at
time too. You know,
That's why I always trust the drummer or the bassist. Like,
Yeah.
you hope that one of those
bassist
two
usually has
got
a
that.
good idea what's going on.
Their job's pretty simplistic enough for that, like, timing to be the thing that they try to get good at. It's like keeping it's like
Well, and they're a good amount of what the people are hearing, anyways. If you're playing live,
Facts.
especially.
Yeah,
So
if you're doing it right,
and
makes
they're
it
gonna
right.
hopefully they're gonna be on time, but. Yeah,
Oh, rappers,
yeah.
man. Live shows with rappers. I don't know how many times I have to tell rappers, don't fucking
Don't
cup
cut
the mic.
You ever watch SMG
my
Productions?
God. I might.
It's
That
this
sounds really familiar.
old guy named Glenn. He's like a metalhead.
Yes.
Yeah. He
yes.
does like stupid musician texts.
Yes,
and, like,
that
yeah.
was that's how I found him, was the stupid musician, like audio engineer,
Yeah,
like what
stupid engineer
fucking
text.
what engineers hear and
Yeah,
shit like
yep.
that. That shit fucking, and he's always, don't cup the fucking mic. He's Canadian, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think he's
Kind
up
of
in
chubbier
Toronto.
dude, black long hair. He uses Reaper. That's
Oh,
how I
does he?
found Reaper recording program.
Nice.
So he's a big proponent of Reaper, and really hates like how flashy Pro Tools and everything is. He's
Yeah.
like, Reaper's fucking basically free. I think it's
Yeah.
40, $50 or something for that, for the full version, but you
Nice.
can download a free version, and it's comparable to Pro Tools, but you can download and get like third-party plugins and
Right.
shit without having to have a fucking iLock and all kinds of other shit. So he prefers it, and he says he gets a really good sound. But yeah, he makes a bunch of metal shit. Like he gets real
Yeah.
like, I've had a hard time doing metal in Pro Tools. Like it's real touchy.
Seems like it's definitely much friendlier for people that are doing more like electronic production, not
Yeah.
electronic but digital stuff that's not like
Everything is
live
going into the
recording.
shit, yeah.
Right, you're using MIDI, you're using like just vocals recording from a mic, you know.
Exactly.
You're not
That's
doing
what-
live guitars, live drums, live
because
things
they
like
make
that.
a program for that.
Right.
Like they have live production post. Like that's that Avid's the fucking Adobe of audio production.
Yeah.
They're just a really big name, and then you have to buy each one of their subcategory fucking things
Sure.
for their shit. Each app for every fucking thing that you want to use and do.
Just, and I'm sure you can buy some unlimited pass bullshit that's like the most expensive per year. Or
Yeah, you
whatever.
buy a yearly. Like I used to have a plug-in bundle.
Yeah.
That was like $60 a month or $400 a year, and then you pay that yearly. And they expect, if you're a big enough studio, you know, and you're running their shit, and that's why a lot of studios around here started going to Studio One. They started running that.
Yeah.
But Reaper's even better than Studio One.
I'm a Logic guy myself. I went from
Logic's
GarageBand.
good.
GarageBand was sick because it was free. It came with my MacBook, and it's great for just experimenting. Like it's awesome. It's so simple. They make it so that anyone can really just like start fucking around and making a song.
Yeah.
But of course, there's limitations. Once I actually made the switch to Logic, which, if you don't know, is like the more advanced version of Logic, jumped into that, and it's like, oh, okay, this is like professional level. Like you can get as deep down these rabbit holes as you want. You know what I mean?
And most people I know that even like record audio, say they record a singer in Pro Tools,
Yeah.
and then they master everything in Logic. because Logic just has a way better mastering setup and usability and connection.
It's got a good
especially
user
if you want
interface.
It's real nice. People love it. It's used hand in hand with Pro Tools.
Well, what
That's
I
why
want
I
to
wonder if it's even worth using, because all of these DAWs now have gotten good enough that their audio drivers are equivalent, if not better, than Pro Tools. So I spent all that money
you can
for nothing.
still buy the nice plugins and just use them in another program.
Yeah, and then with Pro Tools, you can't just buy any plugin. It has to be a AAX plugin.
Yeah.
If you don't get an AAX,
Which I'm sure are the most expensive.
the most fucking, and they're rare between not everything. You can't use VST anything in Pro Tools
Really?
now. Yeah, so all virtual instrument VSTs
What?
have to be AAX. They have to be converted into that. So like anybody that had plugins that they paid for previously, if you upgraded to Pro Tools, you lost all your fucking plugins.
That's fucked.
Thousands of dollars just down the fucking hole.
Dude, that's whack.
Yeah. So I tell people to get Reaper now.
I'm sure, I guarantee you that Pro Tools makes all their money, their big money, from the large studios and the campuses
100%.
and the places that are buying it like in bulk.
Yeah, because you can,
because they're the ones that are making enough money to not give a shit that they're getting nickeled and dimed
Yeah.
by this company,
and it's a tax write-off for big businesses and
I'm
shit
sure,
like that.
or for colleges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's what gets taught. Pro Tools throws a lot of that money back into schools
Education.
to throw it.
Yeah,
to
that's.
get
I
more
mean, if
money
you got
from
the
them.
money to make that kind of move, that's great.
Yeah.
Like as a business, teach
Yeah.
the people that this is what
This
you're gonna
is your
need.
plug-in. And it's
Yeah.
they say it's ease of access, and then if you have your license drive, you can plug it in anywhere that has a Pro Tools, and you should be able
Right.
to. Which I've found not to work so seamlessly as they fucking say that it does.
Yeah.
And I guarantee if anybody's honest out there, they'd say the same damn thing. And that's why, like, it really doesn't matter in this day and age what you're using. But Logic's a good one. I like that.
I do
Acid
like
program
Logic.
and shit. I like Fruity Loops for beats and Acid for beats.
Fruity Loops is fun. I've played in Fruity Loops a bit.
Hour and 11 minutes, my guy.
Woo. Well, I'm thirsty
We're
as
kicking
fuck.
it.
So we gotta call it a wrap.
Yeah.
Get some liquids up in here.
Facts. But we love you all for tuning in.
Yes, we actually love you in a weird way.
In a weird way. Like, I'll tickle the back of your ears.
I'll watch. Yeah.
It'll be nice. All right. Bye-bye.
Next time.